Good evening and welcome to Sun Mineral Temple. We are so happy you've joined us. My name is Alba and I use she, her pronouns. This is our first June observance and I'm so happy that you are here. As always, the service will be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel. Please note, I am currently out of the country and recording this on a tour bus. So, happy Pride Month and Summer Solstice. Please remember our ongoing art contest, movie night vote, and Summer Solstice video. We would love your participation. Keep in mind, I am gone for the entire month except for the very last observance, so everything is pre-recorded and pre-posted. We are looking to restart committees and give them their assigned tasks, and I would love to have as many people contribute to this. Next month, we'll be doing our mid-year survey, so please think about any ideas or things you want to tell me. I am being truly honest and I want and love your feedback, so please give me your honest opinion. We'll open today with our opening words, which will appear on the slide behind you. Please read along at home. We welcome you into the light of the gods and light this flame in celebration. May its brightness symbolize our connection to the gods and the natural world. May you join us in this community of faith, cherishing love and with open hearts. So our theme for this month is sacredness, and our readings are the Pythia from Old Greek Stories by James Baldwin, the Kalevala Vainamonen's Sowing, translated by John Martin Crawford, and De Officiis by Cicero, translated by Walter Miller. So we'll begin with the Pythia. So, one day an old man told Cadmus that if he would go to Delphi and ask the Pythia, perhaps she could tell him all about Europa. Cadmus had never heard of Delphi or of the Pythia, and he asked the old man what he meant. "I will tell you," said the man. "Delphi is a town built near the foot of Mount Parnassus, at the very center of the earth. It is the town of Apollo, the bringer of light, and there is a temple there, built close to the spot where Apollo killed a black serpent many years ago. The temple is the most wonderful place in the world. In the middle of the floor there is a wide crack or crevice, and this crevice goes down into the rock, nobody knows how deep. A strange odor comes out of the crevice, and if anyone breathes much of it, he is apt to fall over and lose his senses." "But who is the Pythia that you spoke about?" asked Cadmus. "I will tell you," said the old man. "The Pythia is a wise woman who lives in the temple. When anybody asks her a hard question, she takes a three-legged stool called a tripod and sets it over the crevice in the floor. And she sits on the stool and breathes the strange odor. Instead of losing her senses as other people would do, she talks with Apollo, and Apollo tells her how to answer the question. Men from all parts of the world go there to ask about things which they would like to know. The temple is full of the beautiful and costly gifts which they have brought the Pythia. Sometimes she answers them plainly, and sometimes she answers them in riddles, but what she says always comes true." So Cadmus went to Delphi to ask the Pythia about his lost sister. The wise woman was very kind to him, and when he had given her a beautiful golden cup to pay her for her trouble, she sat down on the tripod and breathed the strange odor which came up the crevice in the rock. Then her face grew pale, and her eyes looked wild, and she seemed to be in great pain, but they said that she was talking with Apollo. Cadmus asked her to tell him what had become of Europa. She said that Jupiter, in the form of a white bull, had carried her away, and that it would be of no use to look for her anymore. "But what shall I do?" said Cadmus. "My father told me not to turn back till I should find her." "Your father is dead," said the Pythia, "and a strange king rules in his place. You must stay in Greece, for there is work here for you to do." "What must I do?" said Cadmus. "Follow the white cow," said the Pythia, "and on the hill where she lies down you must build a city." Cadmus did not understand what she meant by this, but she would not speak another word. "This must be one of her riddles," he said, and he left the temple. We will now move into our next story, which is the Kalevala Vainamonen's by John Martin Crawford. Then arose Vainamonen, with his feet upon the island, but the island was washed by ocean, broad expanse devoid of verdure. There remained he many summers, there he lived as many winters. On the island vast and vacant, well considered, long reflected, who for him should sow the island, who for him the seed should scatter. Thought at last of Pellervonen, firstborn of the plains and prairies, when a slender boy called Sampsa, who should sow the vacant island, who the forest seed should scatter. Pellervonen, thus consenting, sows with diligence the island. Seeds upon the land he scattered, seeds in every swamp and lowland, forest seeds upon the loose earth. On the firm soil sows the acorns. Fir trees sows he on the mountains, pine trees also on the hilltops, many shrubs in every valley. Birches sows he in the marshes, and in the loose soil sows the alders. In the lowlands sows the lindens, in the moist earth sows the willows. Mountain ash in virgin places, on the banks of streams the hawthorn. Junipers in hilly regions, this is the work of Pellervonen. Slender Samsa in his childhood, soon the fertile seeds were sprouting, soon the forest trees were growing, soon appeared the tops of fir trees, and the pines were far out spreading. Birches rose from all the marshes, and the loose soil grew in the alders. The mellow soil, the lindens. Junipers were also growing, junipers with clustered berries on the hawthorn branches. Now the hero Wainamoinen stands aloft to look about him. How the Samsa seeds are growing, how the crop of Pellervonen seized the young seeds thickly spreading, sees the forest rise in beauty. But the oak tree has not sprouted. The tree of heaven is not growing. Still within the acorn sleeping, its own happiness enjoying. Then he waited 3 nights longer, and as many days he waited till a week had vanished. Then again the work examined, but the oak tree was not growing. Had not left her acorn dwelling. Wainamoinen, ancient hero, spies 4 maidens in the distance, water brides. He spies a 5th one, on the soft and sandy shores. In the dewy grass and flowers, on a point extending seaward, near the forests of the island. Some were mowing and some were raking what was mown together, in a window on the meadow. From the ocean rose a giant, mighty Tursus, tall and hardy, pressed compactly all the grasses that the maidens had been raking. When a fire within them kindles, and the flames shot up to heaven, till the wind rose burned to ashes, only ashes now remain, of the grasses raked together, in the ashes of the windrows. Tender leaves the giant places, in the leaves he plants an acorn. From the acorn quickly sprouting, rose the oak tree, tall and stately. From the ground enriched by ashes, newly raked by water maidens, spread the oak tree's many branches, rounds itself a broad corona, raises it above the storm clouds. Far it stretches out its branches, stops the white clouds in their courses. With its branches hides the sunlight, with its many leaves the moonbeams, and the starlight dies in heaven. So we will now move into our final reading, which is De Officiis by Cicero, translated by Walter Miller. We must realize also that we are invested by nature with 2 characters, as it were. One of these is universal, arising from the fact of our all being all alike endowed with reason, and with that superiority which lifts us above the brute. From this, all morality and propriety are derived, and upon it depends the rational method of discerning our duty. The other character is the one that is assigned to individuals in particular. In the matter of physical endowment, there are great differences. Some we see excel in speed for the race, others in strength for wrestling, and so in the point of personal appearance, some have stateliness, others comeliness. Diversities of character are greater still. Lucius Crassus and Lucius Philippus had a large fund of wit. Gaius Caesar, Lucius' son, had still richer fund, and employed it with more studied purpose. Contemporary with them, Marcus Sicarius and Marcus Drusus, the younger, were examples of unusual seriousness. Gaius Laelius, unbound jollity, while his inmate friend Scipio cherished more serious ideals and lived a more austere life. Among the Greeks, history tells us Socrates was a fascinating, witty, a genial conversationalist. He was what the Greeks call Aaron in every conversation, pretending to need information and professing admiration for the wisdom of his companion. Pythagoras and Pericles, on the other hand, reached the heights of influence and power without any seasoning of mirthfulness. We read that Hannibal, among the Carthaginian generals, and Quintus Maximus, among our own, were shrewd and ready at concealing their plans, covering up their tracks, disguising their movements, laying stratagems, forestalling the enemy's designs. In these qualities, the Greeks ranked Themistocles and Jason of Pherae above all others. Especially crafty and shrewd was the device of Solon, who made his own life safer and at the same time to do a considerably larger service for his country feigned insanity. Then there are others, quite different from these, straightforward and open, who think that nothing should be done by underhand means or treachery. They are lovers of truth, haters of fraud. There are others who will stoop to anything, truckle to anybody, if only they may gain their ends. Such we saw were Sulla and Marcus Crassus. The most crafty and most persevering man of this was Lysander of Sparta, we are told. Of the opposite type was Callicratidas, who succeeded Lysander as admiral of the fleet. So we find that another, no matter how eminent may he be, will condescend in social intercourse to make himself appear but a very ordinary person. Such graciousness of manner we have seen in the case of Catullus, both father and son, and also Quintus Macius of Mancia. I have heard that my elders that Publius Scipio Narcissa was another master of this art, but his father, on the other hand, the man who punished Tiberius Gracchus for his nefarious undertakings, has no such gracious manner in social intercourse, and because of that fact he rose to greatness and fame. Countless other dissimilarities exist in features and characters, and they are not in the least to be criticized. So, as our theme is sacredness, I have to ask you the question of what is sacredness? What do you consider to be sacred? So, most pagan traditions identified specific spots in nature where the gods shine through, or specific actions in trees, and a whole variety of other things as sacred. For today, I simply want you to think about what is sacred to you. These can be sacred in either a religious or secular manner, such as, some ritual that you do every day that makes you feel good. But anything can be counted. We'll now move into the ritual part of the observance, and I will play the video in the background behind us. You're welcome to complete a ritual at home, or just watch and listen as I do it as well. We leave this offering for our gods to symbolize our connection and devotion. We gift this rock to symbolize the stability of the gods in our world. We gift this water to accept the flow of our lives. We welcome life and bless our offerings with oil to share our riches. We embrace our connection to each other and the world and celebrate our
now
revival.
move into our closing words, which you can read aloud along with me or just listen as I read them aloud. As we move out into the world, let us remember our community of faith. Cherish love and open your heart as you walk through life. Hold dear the light of the gods and our connection with the natural world. Go forth in celebration and carry the light of connection within your heart.